Hi, I'm Beth Accomando, host of the KPBS Cinema Junkie podcast, and I'm doing a new thing called Geeky Gourmet. These are a series of videos in which I show you how to make a food item or a drink that's paired to the podcast theme. So this week, I am doing a podcast on Bollywood cinema, and I have the Movie Wallace podcasters on to talk about Bollywood films. Now, if you know anything about Bollywood films, you know that they tend to be long, and that means they have an intermission. So one of the key things about an intermission is you need some snacks. So I'm going to show you how to make two different kinds of snacks. In this episode, it's going to be a very kind of Americanized, simple thing that anybody can do in their kitchen. And this is Bollywood popcorn. So this is the perfect thing for you to have if you're watching a Bollywood movie at home and just want something that's got a little bit of a flavor of India. So I'm going to show you two different methods. One is a method which is a dry popcorn topper that you can just sprinkle on top. You can butter your popcorn and then sprinkle this on top. So that's one version, and the other version will be where you actually heat up the spices and mix it with butter and then pour it over the popcorn. So that's two different ways that you can make some Bollywood popcorn. First one, this is going to be all dry ingredients that you're going to mix together in a food processor. So the things you're going to be needing are a wealth of spices. That's one of the things about Indian food is they've got this really deep, rich sense of spice and flavor. The first thing we're going to start with is some shredded coconut. And you want just under a cup of that. And I think it works best if you have the dried and unsweetened. And then we're going to get some curry powder. And depending on how adventuresome you want to be, you can use a mild curry or you can use a hot curry. This one's a hot curry. And then you want a couple teaspoons of sugar. I suggest either a sea salt or a coarse kosher salt put in. And then we have our ginger and some cinnamon and a garlic powder and some cumin. I'm using some cumin seed for this. And if you don't have smoked paprika, regular paprika works fine. I really like the flavor that's added by the smoked one. You can even smell it. It smells really good. And then some Indian red chili. Okay, so those are all the ingredients you want to add. And again, this is a recipe where if there's a flavor you like better, if you're a real fan of the flavor of cumin, or you can't stand it, or you like the smoked paprika, or you really like it hot and spicy and you want more curry, you can alter it to your taste. But that's kind of a basic start for it. And then we want to put it in the food processor. And we're just going to whip it up really good so that it's nicely mixed and the cumin seeds and the coconut are kind of finely ground. This is now what you have, which is a really nice topper that you can put on your popcorn. And then the other thing you can do when you have this dry mixture is it works really well that you can put it in a little container. And you can either give it to each of your guests at a party who are watching Bollywood films so they can put as much on as they want, or you can give it out to somebody as a gift and let them watch Bollywood movies at home. So this is the first version of the popcorn that you can make. And then now let's see about doing the other version of Bollywood popcorn. Okay, so this is the second version of Bollywood popcorn that you can make. This one's going to be a little more savory. There's no coconut or sugar to kind of sweeten it, so it'll have a little more spicy, savory flavor to it. So this one, we can start. I'm going to use a milder curry on this one. The curry is going to be 2 teaspoons, and everything else is roughly going to be a teaspoon each. We'll add some cumin, and I'm using whole cumin seed because when we roast these, that's going to taste really good, and then we'll be grinding those up. Some smoked paprika. Some garlic powder, some chili, and try to get the Indian chili if you can, and turmeric. You can use a little less of that, but the colors of these Indian spices are really gorgeous. And then some fennel seed. And again, the fennel seed and the cumin seed are really good when you're kind of toasting these up, and then you'll be grinding them. Some garam masala. I'm going to add a little bit of cardamom pods. These you'll use when you're doing the toasting of the spices, and then you can either pull them out or you can pop them open and take out the seeds, but I love the kind of the subtle hint of cardamom in that. And then just a touch of cinnamon, not too overpowering. So here are the spices. I love the colors of Indian spices and I love the smell. I wish you could smell this right now. Okay, so to enhance the flavor of these spices, especially since we used whole cumin and whole fennel seed, it's really nice to heat them up in a pan. As soon as you can start smelling them, really strong and nice, then they're probably good enough. Okay, so now that you've got the spices all heated up, you don't want to put the whole cardamom pod in there because this outer skin is not very good. But if you want, you can either dispose of them completely or you can take out the seeds from the cardamom and drop them in so they'll get ground up a bit. And really, just the smell of these Indian spices is going to turn your house into like a little Bollywood cinema if you want to watch a movie. It'll transport you. So now we have this nice, finely ground up. Okay, so we've just prepped all our spices for the Bollywood popcorn, and now comes the part of popping the popcorn. So you have two choices to do it. You can do it stovetop or you can do an air popper. I have an air popper, so we'll start with that version, and we'll do this one with the kind of sweet Bollywood popcorn topping, and we'll do that one first. And I'm also going to include a link in the information on this video where you can download a PDF of a Bollywood popcorn box. And this is something you can just print out at home, cut it out, and you'll have your very own Bollywood popcorn box to put this popcorn in. So we're gonna start by doing the air popcorn, and we'll put that on right now. So once you've got everything popped, this requires a little bit of lemon juice. So take some fresh lemon. I have some melted butter here, so I'm gonna add the lemon to the melted butter. This is the sweet topping that has coconut and a little bit of sugar, so we're gonna sprinkle that on, but if you sprinkle it on without any kind of adherent to it, it's not gonna really stick to the popcorn. So pour your lemon juice and butter in, give it a little toss, and then you can start sprinkling your topping on. So then once you've topped it, you can put it in your Bollywood popcorn box, and then you get to eat it and watch a Bollywood film. Now let's move on to making the popcorn on the stovetop. Okay, so if you want to do stovetop popcorn, one thing you can do that's kind of a trick to get it to work a little better is start heating up your pan and put a single kernel of popcorn in. And what you want to do is you're just going to wait for that one to pop before you put your other popcorn in. And what you want to do if you're cooking it on the stovetop, add some oil to the popcorn before you drop it into the pan. Okay, so once that one kernel of popcorn has popped, you can lower the heat a tiny bit and put in the rest of your popcorn that's mixed with olive oil. And go ahead and cover it. We're gonna put some butter, melt some butter now, and this one is also going to use some lemon, so you can add some lemon to it. So these are the spices that we heated up and ground, and now you can add them. You're going to be heating them kind of a second time in the butter and adding that to it, and then we're going to toss all this together with the popcorn. And since we used turmeric in this, you can see that it's picking up some of that color. Okay, that brings us to the end of another Geeky Gourmet. We made two kinds of Bollywood popcorn here. We have a sweet one and a more savory one. I kind of like the more savory one a bit. It's got a little more kick, a little more spice. So remember to listen to the companion Cinema Junkie podcast. It's all about the golden age of Bollywood cinema. It's called Hooray For Bollywood, and my guests are the Movie Wallahs podcasters. So please take a listen to the podcast and check out the next Geeky Gourmet coming up, where I'll show you how to make more intermission snacks to watch your Bollywood films with. You can find Cinema Junkie at kpbs.org/Cinema Junkie. Until our next film fix, I'm Beth Accomando, your resident Cinema Junkie.